childhood, being a kid, a teenager, going to Minneapolis, being with Jimmy and Terry, and
Oh yeah, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
The sudden passing of Michael Jackson in 2009 sent waves of shock and sadness across the globe, leaving millions of fans heartbroken. But for his sister, Janet, the loss was even more personal. Grief-stricken, she had to come to terms with the death of not just a sibling, but an iconic figure whose influence spanned generations. Despite the complexities of their relationship, marked by both deep affection and moments of tension, Janet was left to navigate her emotions in the wake of his passing. Today, she has chosen to speak out, revealing a shocking truth that has taken the world by surprise. In this video, we dive into the story of their unique bond, explore the legacy of Michael Jackson, and uncover the revelation that has stunned fans and family alike. Stay with us as we unravel the mystery behind Janet Jackson's powerful confession. Michael Jackson's story begins in the industrial town of Gary, Indiana, where he was born on August 29, 1958, as the eighth child in the Jackson family. The Jacksons, living in a modest two-bedroom house, were a hard-working, blue-collar family, scraping by on the wages of Joseph Jackson, a crane operator at U.S. Steel, and Catherine Jackson, who worked part-time while nurturing a deep passion for music. Michael, along with his 9 siblings, grew up surrounded by the sounds of music, but also within the pressures of a tough, often unforgiving environment. From an early age, Michael showed signs of the prodigious talent that would one day make him a global icon. His mother, Catherine, had a strong musical background, playing the clarinet and piano, and her own unfulfilled dreams of a musical career became a driving force in Michael's development. However, it was his father, Joe Jackson, whose persistence in pushing his children toward success in the entertainment industry shaped Michael's early years. Joe, himself a former boxer, was relentless in his pursuit of excellence. Despite his demanding and sometimes harsh methods, Joe's efforts formed the backbone of Michael's rise to fame. Joseph Jackson's approach to parenting was controversial, to say the least. His strict discipline and expectations, while intended to hone his children's musical talents, left a complicated legacy. His demands for long hours of rehearsal and perfection in performance often overshadowed his children's emotional needs. Michael, in particular, would later reflect on the emotional toll of his upbringing. While Joe's methods produced extraordinary musical talent, they also created a sense of bitterness and longing for a childhood Michael never fully experienced. The Jackson family, though, was bound by music in a way that would set them apart from many other families. Despite the pressures, there was a shared sense of unity and purpose as the Jackson children worked together to achieve success. The family's tight-knit dynamic allowed them to support each other, both in everyday life and in their shared pursuit of music. Michael's older brothers, Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, and Marlon, were all part of the early musical group that would later evolve into the Jackson 5. Their performances in local clubs and talent shows laid the foundation for what would become a legendary career. For Michael, his early experiences were pivotal. From the age of 6, he began performing with his brothers in local talent shows, showcasing his remarkable voice and stage presence. However, it wasn't just the musical environment that shaped him. It was the cultural influences of Gary, a predominantly African-American city, which provided him with the foundation for the rhythm, blues, and gospel influences that would later define his sound. Michael's musical talent was steeped in the traditions of African-American music, which he later blended with pop, rock, and soul, creating a sound all his own. Despite the family's financial struggles, Michael and his siblings never gave up on their dream. Michael was a perfectionist, driven by the desire to succeed and break free from the limitations of his circumstances. His father's iron will, while contentious, also fueled Michael's relentless pursuit of musical excellence. As Michael's career began to gain momentum, it was clear that the Jackson family's ambition and dedication were paying off, even if the cost of such success was high. Growing up in this environment, Michael developed a deep connection to his family, especially his siblings, who were his closest allies and collaborators. The dynamic of their relationships, however, wasn't always harmonious. As the family's primary star, Michael's solo success began to overshadow the contributions of his siblings, creating a mix of pride and jealousy within the household. But through it all, music remained the glue that held them together. The Jackson family's shared commitment to their craft was undeniable, and despite the complexities of their personal relationships, music provided them with a sense of unity and purpose. Michael's early life, filled with both sacrifice and reward, shaped the artist he would become. His family's struggle to break through in the music industry, coupled with the sacrifices they made, helped Michael develop the work ethic and vision that would catapult him to global stardom. But it also left an indelible mark on his psyche, influencing his future career and the complicated relationship he would have with his own legacy. Michael Jackson's journey into the music industry began long before he achieved global fame. From a young age, he and his brothers performed in local talent shows, with Michael quickly standing out as the star of the group. Under the strict guidance of their father, Joe Jackson, the Jackson brothers honed their musical talents relentlessly, with Joe pushing them to reach perfection at every turn. It was this unwavering commitment to excellence that led the family to pursue a professional career in music, setting the stage for their eventual rise to stardom. In 1967, the Jackson brothers signed with Steeltown Records and released their first singles. But it wasn't until they joined the legendary Motown label in 1968 that their careers truly took off. The Jackson 5, as they were now known, became an overnight sensation. Motown's founder, Berry Gordy, recognized their potential and transformed them into one of the most successful acts of the 1970s. With Michael's powerful voice leading the way, the Jackson 5 quickly amassed an impressive catalog of hits. Their success was unprecedented. 4 consecutive singles, I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There, reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making them the first group in history to achieve this feat. In just a few years, the Jackson 5 accumulated 17 top 40 hits, cementing their place in the music industry as one of the most influential and beloved groups of the time. Their upbeat sound, catchy melodies, and synchronized dance moves captivated audiences worldwide. And Michael's natural charisma as the group's lead vocalist made him the face of their success. However, the rise to fame came at a personal cost. The Jackson family, while thriving professionally, faced numerous sacrifices along the way. The rigorous schedule, constant touring, and intense public scrutiny put a strain on their personal lives, leaving little room for a normal childhood. Michael, in particular, felt the weight of his role as the group's frontman, and the pressure to meet expectations only grew as their success expanded. While they celebrated the milestones of their career, the Jacksons also had to navigate the challenges of maintaining their bond as a family amidst the demands of superstardom. Their early years were marked by hard work and sacrifice, but the rewards of their success were undeniable. The Jackson 5's rise to fame was a testament to their talent, determination, and the unyielding vision of Joe Jackson. As Michael began to shine as a solo artist, the Jackson 5's influence continued to shape the music landscape, laying the groundwork for Michael's later transformation into the king of pop. As the Jackson 5's popularity began to wane, Michael Jackson embarked on a new chapter in his career that would redefine him as an artist. In 1975, the Jacksons made the bold decision to leave Motown and sign with Epic Records, marking the beginning of a new era for Michael. With this shift came a rebranding, with the group now known simply as the Jacksons. However, it was Michael's solo career that would truly launch him into the stratosphere of superstardom. In 1979, Michael released Off the Wall, a groundbreaking album that marked a clear departure from the bubblegum pop sound he was known for with the Jackson 5. The album showcased a more mature and sophisticated Michael, blending elements of funk, disco, soul, and pop. With hits like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, Off the Wall was a commercial and critical success, proving that Michael had evolved into a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. The album's success solidified his status as an emerging solo artist and demonstrated his ability to push musical boundaries. But it was Thriller, released in 1982, that would elevate Michael to an entirely new level of fame. Thriller became not just an album, but a cultural phenomenon. It shattered records, becoming the best-selling album of all time, and introduced the world to some of Michael's most iconic tracks, such as Billie Jean, Beat It, and the title track Thriller. With its genre-defying sound, groundbreaking music videos, and unforgettable performances, Thriller catapulted Michael into the realm of global superstardom, earning him the title of the King of Pop. This album cemented his place as one of the most influential musicians of all time. However, the path to success wasn't without its personal struggles. As Michael's fame grew, so did the pressure and scrutiny. The media at times was relentless in its criticism, often focusing on his appearance, his personal life, and the rumors that swirled around him. The pressure took a toll on his mental and emotional well-being, and Michael became increasingly isolated. The changing dynamics within his family added to the strain, as his relationship with his father, Joe Jackson, became more complicated, and tensions arose between Michael and his siblings. Despite these challenges, Michael remained focused on his music, using his artistry as an outlet for his emotions. Michael Jackson's transition from a member of the Jackson 5 to the King of Pop was not just a career shift, but a profound personal transformation. While Thriller marked the peak of his success, it also marked the beginning of an increasingly complex and sometimes difficult journey, as he navigated fame, personal loss, and the pressures of being one of the world's most beloved and scrutinized figures. The bond between Michael and Janet Jackson was one marked by both deep affection and occasional tension. Growing up in the large Jackson family, where 9 siblings lived under one roof, Michael and Janet, despite their 7-year age gap, shared a unique closeness. As children, they were often inseparable, with Michael affectionately giving Janet the nickname Dunk, a playful term that spoke to their sibling camaraderie. Yet, as close as they were, Michael's rising stardom and the pressures of their shared musical career started to create subtle shifts in their relationship. While Michael's fame began to soar, Janet, who was also pursuing a music career, began to feel the weight of comparisons to her brother. Michael, ever the perfectionist, was known to make critical comments, particularly regarding Janet's appearance. His remarks about her weight, though perhaps meant in jest, deeply affected her self-esteem, and over time, these criticisms became a source of emotional pain. Despite this, Janet continued to support Michael's career, though her personal struggles with body image and her own self-worth were never far from her mind. As Michael's solo career skyrocketed with the release of Thriller, the siblings' dynamic began to change. Janet, who had initially enjoyed success with her own music, found herself somewhat overshadowed by her brother's monumental rise to fame. Michael's success, while a source of family pride, also left Janet grappling with her own identity and career. Her music and public image were often compared to Michael's, and the weight of living in his shadow started to take its toll. Still, Janet continued to carve out her own path in music, but the constant comparisons remained a challenge. The most significant strain in their relationship came in 1993, when Michael faced serious allegations of child sexual abuse. Janet, like the rest of the family, was deeply affected by the media frenzy and the emotional toll it took on her brother. The accusations, which proved to be a major public scandal, put pressure on the Jackson family, and Janet struggled with the personal and professional fallout. As her brother's legal battles played out, Janet's own career also faced setbacks, with some of her high-profile endorsements pulled due to the negative publicity surrounding Michael. Amidst the swirling controversy, Janet found herself torn between supporting her brother and managing her own career. The media scrutiny, combined with the emotional stress of watching her brother endure such a tumultuous time, placed a strain on their relationship. However, through it all, Janet's love for Michael remained steadfast, despite the difficulties they both faced. Their relationship, like many sibling bonds, was complex, with moments of deep affection, misunderstanding, and struggle. As the years passed, they would continue to support each other, but the challenges they faced together and apart would leave lasting marks on their dynamic. When Michael Jackson tragically passed away in 2009, the entire world was shaken to its core. For Janet Jackson, the loss of her older brother was both a personal and public devastation. She was overcome with grief, unable to comprehend the finality of his death. Janet later spoke about the deep emotional turmoil that engulfed her in those first moments after hearing the news. The suddenness of it all, coupled with the immense love and connection they shared, left her struggling to come to terms with the reality that her beloved brother was gone. However, in the wake of her mourning, Janet would make a shocking revelation that would captivate not only the Jackson family, but the entire world. Janet hinted that Michael's death might not have been as straightforward as it appeared. While the official cause was ruled as an overdose of the anesthetic propofol, Janet suggested that the circumstances surrounding his passing raised troubling questions. In an emotional statement, she expressed her belief that Michael's death could have been more than just an accidental overdose. Her words pointed to the possibility that his death was orchestrated, a claim that ignited a firestorm of speculation and controversy. This theory was not limited to Janet alone. Her daughter, Paris Jackson, also publicly shared her conviction that there was foul play involved in her father's death. Paris, who was just a young girl at the time, has often expressed her feelings that Michael's death was not a simple mistake. Her belief in this possibility adds another layer to the theories that have continued to swirl around the Jackson family's tragedy. The family, deeply affected by Michael's passing, has had to contend with these unsettling theories, each member wrestling with their own understanding of what truly happened that fateful day. Adding fuel to the fire, Michael's older sister, LaToya Jackson, has been vocal about her own suspicions. In interviews, LaToya has suggested that Michael's death was no accident, but rather the result of a deliberate plot. She has even gone so far as to claim that powerful forces, potentially connected to the mysterious Illuminati, may have been involved in orchestrating his demise. LaToya's accusations have added an even darker layer to the mystery, pushing the Jackson family further into a realm of public speculation as they continue to grieve and search for answers. The revelation from Janet and the ongoing theories surrounding Michael's death have only deepened the mystery and intrigue about the circumstances of his passing. For the Jackson family, this loss has been compounded by the uncertainty and fear that their loved one's death may not have been what it seemed. The shocking possibility that Michael's death was more than just a tragic accident has kept the world guessing, with the Jackson family caught in the midst of it all, still struggling to find peace and closure. The tragic death of Michael Jackson in 2009 has sparked countless conspiracy theories, many of which suggest that his passing may not have been a simple overdose, but rather the result of something far more sinister. At the heart of these theories is the involvement of Dr. Conrad Murray, Michael's personal physician. Dr. Murray was convicted of involuntary manslaughter after it was revealed that he had administered the propofol that ultimately led to Michael's death. However, many believe that Murray was merely a scapegoat and that the true circumstances surrounding Michael's death were far more complex. Some conspiracy theorists claim that Michael's death was not just an accident, but part of a larger plan orchestrated by forces with far-reaching power. Janet Jackson, who has been outspoken about her grief, has also touched on the possibility that her brother's death could have been more than just an unfortunate overdose. Janet has suggested that the events surrounding Michael's death may have been planned, implying that there were other motives at play. This theory has been echoed by several members of the Jackson family, especially Janet, who has long expressed doubt about the official narrative. While she has not publicly confirmed all the details, her statements have fueled speculation about the true cause of Michael's passing. One key element of the conspiracy theories is the belief that Michael was targeted because of his wealth and music publishing rights. In the years leading up to his death, Michael had acquired a significant portion of the rights to some of the most valuable music catalogs in the world, including those of the Beatles. This made him a powerful figure in the music industry, but it also made him a target. Some theorists believe that Michael's business dealings, particularly his control over the music industry's most lucrative assets, may have put him in the crosshairs of those who stood to lose from his ownership. The most high-profile figure often mentioned in these theories is Tommy Mottola, the former CEO of Sony Music. Michael had long been vocal about his dissatisfaction with the music industry, particularly with Mottola and his role in exploiting black artists. In interviews, Michael accused Mottola of being racist and of trying to sabotage his career. Some conspiracy theorists believe that Mottola, who was involved in the financial management of Michael's catalog, may have had a vested interest in silencing him. Their long-standing feud, which was publicized in the early 2000s, is often cited as a motive for those who speculate that Michael's death was not a random tragedy, but part of a larger conspiracy. Adding to the complexity of the theories are suggestions that Michael's death may have involved more secretive, shadowy organizations. The Illuminati, a supposed global elite, has been frequently mentioned in connection with Michael's passing. According to some theorists, Michael's immense influence, his public outspokenness, and his control over his music rights may... Since Michael Jackson's passing, Janet Jackson has continually paid tribute to her brother, both publicly and privately, as a way of honoring his memory and legacy. One of her most emotional tributes came in 2009, when she performed their iconic duet "Scream" at the MTV Video Music Awards. This powerful moment allowed Janet to share the stage with her late brother once more, capturing both the grief and strength she felt in the wake of his loss. Throughout the years, Janet has used her platform to express her emotions, sharing heartfelt posts on social media that convey her deep sorrow, while also celebrating Michael's immense impact on the world. For Janet, losing Michael was not just the loss of a sibling, but the end of an extraordinary connection that defined much of her life. The bond they shared was complicated by the highs and lows of their careers, the public pressures they faced, and their personal struggles. Despite these challenges, the love they had for one another remained unwavering. Janet has openly spoken about the emotional toll that Michael's death took on her and how she continues to navigate the grief that comes with losing someone so close. The complexity of their relationship, marked by both moments of deep affection and painful tension, has made the mourning process all the more intricate and difficult to manage. Janet's perspective on grief and healing is one of resilience. She has discussed how she's learned to channel her grief into something constructive, keeping Michael's memory alive through her music, performances, and the lessons he imparted. In interviews, Janet has emphasized the importance of allowing herself to grieve, but also the necessity of moving forward while still honoring Michael's legacy. For her, it's about finding balance, keeping the memory of her brother alive while living her own life and continuing her career. As time passes, Janet's tributes to Michael have evolved from public performances to more private reflections, but her commitment to honoring him remains steadfast. She's learned to embrace both the sorrow and the joy that his legacy brings, recognizing that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. In every way she can, Janet keeps Michael's spirit alive, ensuring that his influence continues to shape the world, just as it shaped her life. The bond between Janet and Michael Jackson was one defined by both profound love and complex dynamics. While their relationship was far from perfect, marked by both personal and professional challenges, the love Janet had for her brother never wavered. Despite the ups and downs they experienced, the foundation of their connection remained rooted in a deep, unconditional affection. Their relationship was a reflection of the intricacies that come with being siblings, closely connected, yet often navigating the pressures of fame, family expectations, and personal struggles. The love they shared was not always easy, but it was undeniably strong, even in the face of adversity. Sibling relationships are often complicated, and for Janet, this was no different. Growing up in the shadow of Michael's immense talent, and later his global superstardom, was both a source of pride and challenge. Janet, like many siblings of famous individuals, often found herself grappling with her own identity in relation to Michael. While they supported each other professionally, the weight of public expectations and media scrutiny created strain. However, through all of it, Janet never lost her love for Michael. Even during times of tension, her commitment to him remained unwavering. The loss of Michael in 2009 left an indelible mark on Janet's heart. The grief she experienced was unlike any she had ever known, compounded by the shared memories of their childhood, the shared experiences in the music industry, and the weight of losing a loved one who was both a brother and a lifelong companion. The emotional weight of that loss was something Janet carried with her, even as she worked through the process of healing. Janet's personal journey of grief has been one of resilience and reflection. She has openly shared her struggles, admitting that healing has not been easy, but that it is an ongoing process. Janet's way of honoring Michael is through keeping his memory alive in her own life, whether through her music, her public tributes, or the quieter, more personal moments of remembrance. As she continues to navigate the pain of his absence, she embraces the idea that grief doesn't have a fixed timeline. It is something that evolves and shifts, and for Janet, it is also something that allows her to find strength in carrying forward the legacy of her brother. The love Janet had for Michael was complex, but in the end, it was unbreakable. Their relationship, with all its layers, serves as a testament to the depth of sibling bonds, where love and loss coexist, and where memory becomes a source of healing. As we reflect on Michael Jackson's passing, the mystery surrounding his death remains one of the most debated topics in entertainment history. Was his death simply a tragic accident? Or was there something more at play? The theories continue to swirl, ranging from accidental overdose to allegations of foul play, with many still questioning the true cause of his death. For the Jackson family, this loss is compounded by the unresolved questions, adding an extra layer of pain to an already heartbreaking tragedy. Despite these unanswered questions, Janet Jackson has remained steadfast in her commitment to preserving her brother's legacy. She continues to play an integral role in ensuring Michael's influence endures, honoring his memory through music, performances, and personal tributes. Her dedication to his legacy is a testament to the bond they shared and her unwavering love for him, even in the face of so much grief. So, the question remains: do you believe Michael Jackson's death was truly an accident? Or was there something more behind it? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, as the mystery of his passing continues to captivate and haunt us all.